Hello, my name's Anne Brown. Welcome to FAQ. This is the programme where we answer some of your most frequently asked questions about life here in Spain. My first guest today is Mark Roscoe from Part Exchange Spain, based in Costa. Mark, hello.
Hello.
You're a property expert here in Spain. Part Exchange, what's that as related to property?
Part Exchange was set up predominantly for people that are having difficulty to sell their property. During these difficult times, we had a number of people coming to us very interested in buying houses. They've noticed that prices have come down. They've gone out into the marketplace to try and find a property, but they've come up against being unable to sell their property. So we decided that the best solution for that would be for us to buy their property. So we tied in the fact that we are property investors. We're also an estate agent, put the two together, and we came up with Part Exchange. We act as the buyer for your property. That then enables you to go out with us and find you a property.
So is it a swap scheme?
No, it's a proper Part Exchange scheme. It's actually very similar to Part Exchange in a car, which most of us have done perhaps back in the UK, where we've outgrown our old car, we've seen a new one, we've gone to the garage, said to that garage, I'm interested in the new car. They buy your car and you drive away in your new car. So it's very similar to the Part Exchange scheme that you used to on cars. We are the buyer of your property.
So what area do you cover? Where will we find the properties that you have?
Yeah, Part Exchange, we don't have a specific property database. We actually ask you what type of property you want. So if you came to us, just as an example, saying I'm interested in buying a 3-bed, 2-bath villa. I want a plot size of up to 300-400 square metres and we'd like to be within a 10-minute drive of the coast, then that's what we'll go and find you. We will either find it through our own estate agency, we will either find it through our network that we've built up over the years of other estate agents that we work with. We could also try and find the properties private, so we will scour the newspapers looking to find something that's suitable. And the other one is, you might just find it. You may well have seen the perfect property. You may even have visited that property, but you can't move forward because you haven't found a buyer for yours. We're providing that solution. We will buy your property, then we will go along and look at that house and negotiate the deal for you.
So it sounds quite simple. Let me make sure I understand it properly. So I want to move house. I can't because I've got a property to sell.
Yeah.
There aren't many buyers out there. I come and see you. You buy my property.
Yep.
And I can move.
Yep.
It's as simple as that.
It is, yeah. It is very simple, yeah.
Okay. And how long have you been offering that service?
It's about, well, it's 2 years to come. It is 2 years this January, yeah.
It sounds like it's a fairly unique service.
Yeah, we don't know of anybody else doing it. There may well be. There are companies that do it back in the UK. You may have heard of some of the big groups that do it, but no, I think it is fairly unique, yeah.
And you're not restricted to buying a brand new property from a developer or anything like that?
Can buy anything. It may end up being a new property, it may end up being a resale, it may end up being a repossession, it could be anything. It's just got to be right for you. As long as you like it, you want it and you can afford it, we'll help you find it.
And do you offer the same service as a lot of estate agents, traditional estate agents do, whereby once the deal is done, you'll sort out the lawyer and all the legal aspects of it? Yeah,
we have a brilliant contract for Part Exchange because people think it may be a different type of contract, but it isn't really. Again, because it isn't a swap scheme, I'm not trying to find someone who's got a property who wants to buy your property. That would, needle in a haystack, it would just be very difficult to find those two people. It's no different than what you're used to. We buy your house, so we're contracted to buy your property, and once we found you something, you're contracted then to buy their property, so it's no different. In terms of the services, yeah, it's exactly the same. We'll help with the solicitors, we'll help with, of course, the conveyancing, money transfers, everything that you've been associated with the purchase you had before.
And how much is all this going to cost me?
Good question. We don't actually charge anything for this. We actually, the fees generated from the fact that you are buying a house through us. So again, just like a normal estate agent, that's how we get our fees. If you buy a property, the person that you're buying from will give us a commission, a fee for that service. So no, it's no different than buying a house. We don't take an upfront fee. We've set it up that way. It gives us an incentive. If we do our job properly, then we will we will earn a fee. If we don't do our job properly, then we won't. So it keeps us on our toes.
Sounds like it does. And what about downsizing?
No, it doesn't work for downsizing. The service is really only available to people who are wanting to move up the property ladder.
Mm-hmm. So Mark, is now a good time to be moving and using this scheme?
Yeah, it's a fantastic time. Part Exchange, it probably works best during this difficult time. It's probably recognised that 2007 was the busiest, probably the best time. Not necessarily the best time to buy properties, but there was a lot of people buying. If you were buying a property in 2007, just use a round figure, and that property was 200,000. Your property, if you were selling it and we were buying it within the Part Exchange scheme, and it was worth 100,000, the balance to change would be 100,000. So the difference between the two is 100,000. If we move forward to 2010, again, we're in a very, very different economic climate. It's conceivable that that property has come down to 130,000. Now, if we use, let's say your property's halved, which is a big drop, but let's say it's halved and it's now come down to 50,000. Mm-hmm. If you take the value of the property that you're buying in 2010 and it's come to 130, 50 for yours, it's still only 80 to change. You're actually 20,000 euros better off. Yeah, it seems like you've took a big drop on your property, but in real money that you have to pay, you've saved 20,000 euros. So yeah, it's a fantastic time.
So what you're saying is people can still move even in this climate. Yeah. They can move up to the property that they want, and you can make that happen for them.
Yep, absolutely.
Okay. You mentioned contracts there, Mark, which brings up the legal aspect of it. There's always a little fear over here about the legality of buying and selling property. Explain to me about the legalities of part exchange.
Yeah, you don't need to worry about the legal side. It's no different than what you would be doing if you weren't using a part exchange scheme. So, normal market, you put your house on the property market, you sell it. You do a contract. You do a contract with your buyer. Once it's sold, you then go out into the marketplace and you try and find another house. You do another contract, a buyer's contract, a purchase contract. It's exactly the same. We are your buyer, so we do a contract and we find you a house, you do a contract with the people that you're buying from. So legally, you don't have to think of it as any different as what you're used to. It's not, as I say, it's not a swap scheme. I'm not trying to match you up with somebody. It is a genuine part exchange scheme.
Okay, Mark, thank you very much for coming along today. It's been fascinating. And anybody who's interested in the part exchange scheme with Part Exchange Spain, how can they get in touch with you?
Yeah, they can visit the shop. They can come in and have a chat with us, meet us face to face. There's an alternative, you can go to the website. Again, that's www.partexchangespain.com. Alternatively, you could send a text to 650 132 078. Once we receive that text, we'll give you a call back.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
Well, that's all we've got time for in part one of FAQ. Join me again after the break when I'll be talking to education expert Silvia Pizarro.